Welcome to the 3G Fitness Podcast,
where three generations of trainers come together to discuss all things fitness related.
Join us as we share insights, tips, and stories from our diverse experiences as we unravel the secrets of staying fit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3G's Fitness Podcast, Three Generations of Fitness. I'm Coach Cisco.
Coach Michael.
I'm Coach Kyle.
And today, boys and girls, children of all ages, we got a special guest, very, very near dear friend of mine. We got the owner, the CEO of Healthy Meals Kitchen, Adam Kholghy.
Thank you guys for having me on the podcast today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
Yes, sir.
So, Adam, just briefly give me an introduction of yourself. Who are you as a human being? And then how did you get started with this lovely brand of meal preps right here called Healthy Meals?
Well, first of all, I'm actually one of Cisco's really good friends.
Yes.
I've known Cisco now probably since 2012 when he first became a trainer at 24 Hour Fitness.
Yeah, we go back.
He was a little young buck, a little, insecure, little baby, and now he's blossomed into this professional individual.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah, actually, so a little bit about myself. I've been in not in the fitness industry. I've been in the food industry my whole life. My dad has a pizza place. It's called Dina's Italian Restaurant, by the way, in Westminster.
Check it out.
For a cheap meal, come on by. So yeah, there was a 24-hour fitness there, and just started working out. And just fitness has become a big part of my life. Not eating. Nutrition was never a big issue or never a big, point in my career. Mm-hmm. But lifting heavy, just going to the gym, doing marathons, doing Tough Mudders, all that stuff was pretty much my passion, be in the gym, working out hours of the day. But just eating, it never was something that I, did. I just, just let's go work out.
Yep.
Pizza, hamburgers. Because, you're a young guy, so when you're young, your metabolism works pretty well,
Yeah.
So, but that's about myself. So I got into the fitness industry, started working out. And here, fast forward, like how many years later, I'm 41 years old, or be 41 years this year. It's about 25 years in the fitness industry. And
Pretty much, you have been, man.
yeah, so
You're still a young buck, man.
I'm still a young buck, but these gray hairs, they stay otherwise, So.
Well, it's crazy because, yes, I would always see Adam every day at the gym. Every day, right on cue. He'd be there 2 p.m., he has a good little split shift, and so he'd be there 2 to 4 p.m. So that's how I got to build my relationship with you. But I definitely saw the passion that you had when it came to working out. Nonstop working out, running marathons. Not just that, you even would get like a running club going from time to time as well, too.
Yeah.
So I felt like, when you started diving into, actually understanding nutrition and that being a part of it, let's just talk about that. When you started understanding nutrition, how much did you see an improvement in your own personal fitness growth?
Oh, first of all, it wasn't just fitness growth; it was mental growth. Once you start eating better, it changes everything. The perspective on just how you look at everything in life. The energy levels that you get from it just go out the roof. You have more energy, you have the drive, then you start seeing gains in the gym, you start losing weight, muscle definition, then you start building confidence because then your body and your physique starts changing as well as your mental capacity starts changing. And it was just like, hey, this is an addiction, I want to start eating healthy every single day. But then it's like, you meet people around you that have the same common goals and interests, then you want to kind of share that passion and nutrition because obviously being in the food industry, you want to share what you're good at, and food was what I was good at, so that's that's kind of how the fitness and food kind of came together.
Do you have a culinary art background? Like, were you a chef growing up?
Just hard work,
Just hard work, just trial and error in the kitchen,
throwing spices here and there,
I see.
Actually, I guess the whole food became a passion is because my brother was an IBF pro bodybuilder, or he still is, and now he's a coach. So I just started seeing the foods that he was eating, and I just started, kind of copying that format, So chicken, rice, asparagus, ground turkey, tilapia, ground beef, sweet potatoes, red potatoes, all that good stuff, you start consuming yourself. And that's how I kind of learned it throughout the years,
So practicing on yourself pretty much, putting it in through yourself, seeing the difference. And when was it that you had that light bulb moment of, hey, I can make this into a package and start giving it out?
Funny story is it actually has to do with Cisco. To do the package of Healthy Meals Kitchen, the light kind of clicked when Cisco introduced me to my wife. Sandy was a big part of this whole process. Because when I was in the gym, I was just kind of finding myself, and I was a single guy, and Cisco with a bunch of wonderful people at 24 Hour Fitness, but there was just this one particular girl individually that kind of stood out to me, because you'd post all these Snapchats,
Snapchat the hell out of her. All the embarrassing moments.
She'd be in the break room eating. I was like, who's this beautiful girl? I'm like, you got to introduce me to her, So
Mike, do you know what Snapchat is?
I have no idea what Snapchat is.
I'm listening to this.
There you go. He's seeing a beautiful girl through my social media.
It's social media. It's a social media. Okay.
Like these quick little 15-second videos of his stupid things. He would record people eating, in the break room, like catch them off guard.
Right. Be one of them.
And I was like, all right, well, I want to know who this person is, So. He set us up. We all went out one night. It was like a Tuesday night. We went downtown Huntington.
Yeah.
It was Killarney's, I think it was.
It was Killarney's.
And then it was like the song at the time was Out on a Tuesday, or was it?
Going out?
Club going up on a Tuesday.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. Like, let's go out on a Tuesday night. So, fast forward, I met her, started, just kind of engaging with her and started dating. And then I found out that she was going to school for, nutrition and becoming like a registered dietitian. So I was like, okay, this is a cool little, she's got some common interests that I do. She's at the gym. She likes nutrition. I was getting into eating healthy. So, she kind of saw that I was in the food industry, and she said, hey, have you ever decided to put like this product out for the general public to eat? And I was like, no, I just wanted to cook for myself, So she's like, hey, we could put a website together, and then we could start getting some orders, and let's see how it goes, And, fast forward, we put a website together. The first name of the business was Healthy Choices by Adam or something like that. It wasn't even Healthy Meals Kitchen, So I'm like, I was just kind of like, just one person, I didn't really have a team behind me. So then we put the website together, started getting a couple orders in, and I was like, wait a minute, this could turn into something, And I had somebody that supported myself and the business because she was involved just as much as I was. We would put the food together, weigh out the meals. It was just a team of us, And that's kind of how the business started blossoming, and it turned into this business 11 years later now, It's been an amazing ride.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's crazy because, behind every good man, there's a greater woman. Shout out, Sandy. So, and that's the thing is that you and your family already owned Dino's.
Yeah.
And I personally liked it when I was picking up my meals. I was picking up my healthy meal preps from an Italian pizza place because that's where he was literally slanging them out.
I see.
When I first, heard about meal prep, it was probably like 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay.
And there's a guy that was at the gym, and he was trying to meal prep from his house.
Okay.
And it lasted for a very short period of time because there's a lot of work required, to do that. You got to shop, you got to proportion, you got containers and everything. And he started off, but then he fizzled out.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing that I've heard in the industry because you start small.
Yeah.
And when you start growing, the capacity that it takes and the, just the time and the knowledge and the processes that go into it, it's demanding, because if you're now starting to have like about 15 to 20 clients, that's 10 meals times each person. That's 150 meals. How are you going to do that in a small kitchen?
So how did you make that transition?
So we had luckily I had the commercial kitchen, so we were able to put trays of food at a time, so instead of me cooking out of one oven, I had a double-decker oven where I could cook probably 6 trays of food at a time. So 6 trays of food is going to take the normal person to cook it probably 3 or 4 hours, which for me, it took me 1 hour. So I was cutting the time in half, and then plus, having the space to put it all out. and then use the professional kitchen environment and the operations and the procedures, especially the sourcing of the food, because I had all those local resources like Restaurant Depot, the different vendors that would already bring my dad his fresh produce, Now I was able to get that at bigger quantities and I could just do it faster, and I was able to scale a lot faster than the normal person.
So, how many employees do you have now?
So when I first started, it was just me and my wife, and we used one of the cooks at my dad's restaurant. Now, fast forward 11 years later, we got around about 15 employees. Ooh. That goes from, we have 4 cooks, we have 6 packagers, we have a delivery driver, we have a social media person. We also have, a data entry person that pulls all the orders for us.
Nice.
So then we also have, like I said, like a social media content developer. So we have a lot of individuals that kind of help us out grow, through the years. It's just not it's not a one person team. You can't grow that fast in 10 years by yourself.
Right. Yeah. And you have an actual storefront now too, right, in Fountain Valley?
Yep. So we do have a storefront now in Fountain Valley. It's 18854 Brookhurst Street. Mm-hmm. It's in Fountain Valley, but we're on the border of Huntington. So now we've got out of the restaurant. Now we're in our own storefront. We're able to cook at our own kitchen at our own leisure. Before I had to use his kitchen, which I was doing overnight cooking sessions, which started at 11 p.m. So I would work all day, go home at 8 o'clock at night, take a 2-hour nap, get back into the kitchen at 11 p.m., and then finish that operation at 6 a.m., and then had to go home and then go to sleep again and then go back to work at 11 a.m., So it was a grind. But now we have the kitchen where we can use it at our own hours. We can cook. We can cool everything down, and then nobody's kind of telling us what to do anymore,
Nice.
Yeah, so they started small box, and at the same time, what he just said is so true, because he was still working at his father's restaurant, the family restaurant. So this man was doing both family business and his own business. The reason why... And then side note, he was my roommate. We really tight.
There you go.
I lived without him for a few years.
I fed this guy all the
time.
time.
So he fed me. I was their guinea pig from time to time. But not just that, I would see that grind. Like literally Saturdays, I would never see him. I would be somewhere because the same thing. He would be out. I would wake up, go to work. I'd come back from work on Saturdays at like 2 p.m. from training my clients. I still wouldn't see him. And then when I would see him, he'd be coming home probably 6 or 7 p.m. and then I'd be taking off to go enjoy my Saturday nights. And it's just like, I never saw this guy because he was constantly grinding, he saw the vision. Him and his wife, they saw the vision because she was there too. They would put in the work, and I would always like trip out with how they did that. And now knowing that they got their own kitchen. When did you guys get your own kitchen?
So we got our kitchen in 2019, right before the pandemic, so I was like, found this kitchen. I said, okay. And it was funny at the time, we were looking at the kitchen. That day that we signed the papers for our kitchen, me and Sandy, we actually went at the courthouse and we got married the exact same day.
Oh, wow.
So we got married, signed the papers for our new lease at the business. Then we had to go through all the permits. We had to get the health department to come in, do all the blueprints, set it all up. Then we actually got our store approved to start selling to the public in December of 2019. And then 2020 happened. Pandemic, so my mind starts shifting. Everybody's shutting down. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
That was a scary part.
That kind of should have been a plus for you as far as the pandemic goes, because you're servicing people.
It was a blessing.
That was
because we were essential. Most places had to close down. Everybody started working from home. Grocery stores were running out of food. I was an essential person, so I was able to not stay home, and I had to now think on my toes. I'm like, okay, how am I going to keep this business going? How am I going to employ all my employees? Because everybody depends on me. I'm like, I got to support my family. I got to support these employees. I can't have this business fail. I got to pay rent. I got to pay insurance. I got to pay all that stuff. So what I did is I just went out into the stores and I started just buying inventory left and right. I have a big old walk-in cooler. It's 14 by 10 feet big. It's 140 square feet of capacity. I have a big freezer, so I was able to get a bunch of chicken, a bunch of meat, put it in the freezer. So I bought enough inventory for about a month. So I just had to worry about the fresh produce, which the produce wasn't an issue because obviously people aren't going to be buying cases of produce. You know, they're going and buying protein. That's the main thing that people are buying, or toilet paper at the time, you know.
Yeah.
Since I didn't have to really worry about that, you know, I had to go get containers. You know, the containers were another factor, you know, because everything was coming from China, you know. So I literally went to the warehouse, I bought pallets of these containers, you know, and I was able to store them in our storage facility at my dad's restaurant, because now I had two facilities. I had his restaurant and I had my restaurant. So, you know, I didn't have to shut down. Then our business actually started to grow. We grew probably 25% during that very first year.
Really?
You know, so it was a blessing, you know, something that was super scary turned into a blessing. And now our brand got recognized because now we were pretty much feeding the community, because they couldn't do it for themselves, you know.
That's awesome.
People were doing takeout all the time, you know, and then at that time I was running specials for meals for like $5 or $4 a meal. So it's like, that was unheard of, you know. Where are you going to get a meal prep for $4.50 a meal? You know, you get 10 meals for $45.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. And I love your little red stickers too, that it's you know, that's even more on sale, you know.
And we still do those specials, you know.
Yeah.
Our run specials as low as like $6.50, $5 sometimes, just to help the community, because if it's not for the community, I wouldn't be here today, you know. It's like, they support me and they back me up and they trust the product that we bring to the table, you know. So
I love the grind, dude. I love the grind. I love the respect that, you know, your business is booming. I do want to talk about your products now, though, specifically. So, like, what makes your meals healthy?
So what makes my meals healthy is, you know, bring that back to my wonderful wife, Sandy. She's a registered dietitian. So all of our meals that we put on our website come down to her, and in creating the menu that we have to offer, you know. So we provide, you know, high protein, low carbs, fresh vegetables, no seed oils. We use all extra virgin olive oil on each one of our meals, so you're getting those healthy fats.
Nice.
You know, we have different portion sizes. We have breakfast. We have cold pressed juices, healthy snacks like donuts, for instance, protein cookies, energy bites.
Is there a minimum amount of protein that you always try to reach for?
So the standard is always going to be 4 ounces of protein, you know, and then you're going to be getting your half a cup of carbs, and then you're going to get your serving of veggies per meal. So that's going to be the standard. So that's the right type of macronutrients that you need to sustain to build muscle, burn fat, and just get that function, that brain function going to just live a better life, you know.
What about seniors?
Seniors?
They some of them have high blood pressure,
Of course.
right? Some of them have high sugar, and they have to be careful what they eat.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, I do.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be careful that my salt intake isn't a lot, and the fact that you know, I had colon cancer. Sugar has always been it's a taboo for me.
Yeah.
So when you get a client that has a lot of these issues, they're going to tell you, you know, I've had this, I've had that. You know, can you make a meal for me?
Yeah.
Can you, you know?
So that's a good question. Actually, you know, probably about 40% of our customers are seniors, you know, because we do have the option to have them customize their own meals. So we let them choose their protein, their carb, and their veggie. So this is more of a basic meal for the individual. It's going to be low sodium. It's going to be no sugars. We don't use any sugars in our meals, you know, because it's just strictly protein, carbs, and vegetables. And the seasoning that we use is just like an Italian blend of spices and herbs and seasonings that we use. And then it's just, you know, steamed white rice, steamed brown rice, mashed yams, red potatoes, or even like steamed vegetables, you know. So then we have that option available. But then also our preset menu items, pretty much I would say 60% of them are going to be low sodium meals, you know, and they're easy for the seniors to consume. And that's why they like it, because it's easy to digest. You know, they consume these, say for instance, the 4 ounce meals, because we have two sets of meals. We have the 4 ounce protein and we have the 6 ounce protein. You know, someone that wants to build more muscle, they won't need more protein. So they're going to grab the 6 ounce protein portion meals. But like, say for instance, like a senior, which they don't have as big of appetite, you know, they're going to consume these 4 ounce meals. And even some of the seniors, they split these meals into two, and they kind of consume those throughout the day. You know, a lot of them really enjoy our service because, you know, for instance, they don't have kids at home anymore. They're by themselves. They don't want to cook. They're getting older and they can't go to the grocery store and they can't get now the food for themselves to do it. So they love this service because they just click their meals for the week. We deliver it to them or they pick it up. And, it's just, they can heat up in within minutes, 2 to 3 minutes in their microwave. And they have a well-balanced, nutritious meal, and it includes all their calories on there. Comes with all their macronutrients, their proteins, their carbs, and their fats on there.
Yeah, you have dessert menu.
We do have the desserts. We got those protein donuts that I told you about. Those protein donuts are fire. So
what kind of dessert?
So we got the protein donuts. We got like a Reese's protein donut. We got like cookies and cream, birthday cake. And then we partnered up with some local companies too, which one of the local companies that we partnered up does protein cookies. So we do like a snickerdoodle. We do like right now, this time of the year is going to be coming up to like all the holidays. So pumpkin spice is going to be a good one. Everybody likes that pumpkin spice.
Yes.
They go to Starbucks and they just want that pumpkin spice.
I actually do. I do actually 100%.
That explains a lot.
I don't know. I've never been to a pumpkin spice.
Different type. Different.
I don't know. I never saw the fad, but hey,
me neither.
fads sell. So you kind of go with the trends. So we do that. We also in store. If you come to our store, we also have protein ice cream. So if you do have
I've seen those. Those are fire.
Yeah,
there.
They just got those.
And we just
like those lollipop ones.
Yeah, so we just partnered up with a guy named Owen. He just released his brand new product. It's called the California Ice Protein Bar. His story is another story. You probably should have him on in the future. But this guy actually was locked up for 10 years in the prison, and he made this ice cream in prison.
Oh wow!
So once I met this guy, his story was awesome. It's high protein ice cream bars. He uses monk fruit. He uses yogurt in there, and it's just a great energy source. And it's also a great product. It's just if you had that sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Some of the best people you meet come from prison.
Oh, yeah, he was making it out of.
I've told these guys when I first started lifting, my mentor came. He was in jail. He did like 20 years. And mentored me in the gym,
Yeah, he was in there 10 years and he was making his ice cream out of a mop bucket. A mop bucket.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the crazy thing. So California Ice Protein, check him out. This guy's going to be huge this upcoming year. He just partnered up with Legendary too. So he's got a mentor from Legendary, Bruce, I believe his name is. And I've seen nothing but growth and success for him. And I'm glad to be a part of the journey too.
Nice.
That's part of my
That's
journey,
dope. Do you have any vegan or gluten-free options, all that stuff?
So vegan, we don't do vegan so much. We did bring a vegan line out in the beginning when we first started the business. We had a vegan chef, but for some reason it just never took off, so we kind of stirred away from the vegan side. We do offer plant-based, like if anybody wants it, it's going to be like a tofu, so they can customize their tofu meal. But it's not like that market isn't the more popular market that we deal with. We deal with more of like the everyday well-balanced meal, like proteins, carbs, and veggies.
What about vegetarian?
So vegetarian would be the same. So it's the tofu. So we do offer that route,
like plant-based.
So that's like the only option. But like I just said, it just never took off for us. So we just kind of stayed away from it and just kind of stayed with what we were successful at. So, and then going back to the gluten-free question. Probably around about 75% of our items are going to be gluten-free,
I see.
And then,
nice.
And all of that can be found on our website. When you do place your order online, our nutrition or our dietitian, Sandy, has an intern working underneath us. So everything on our website has been described on each meal description, so I'll tell them the sensitivities or gluten, has the allergens listed, comes with all of your macronutrients, like all the ingredients that we use. Sodium content.
So people can pull up and just ask for like a customized meal plan for you guys, and then
yeah. So pretty much if they want to customize, I always just kind of take them to the website and we'll go through the menu together and we can kind of help build their menu based on what they're looking for.
I see. Nice.
We don't like just we don't build it. Say you come to me and say this is my macros for the week. I build it because obviously if I'm selling a meal at $8 a meal, that's a lot of work. When I'm dealing with around about 200 customers a week, that's going to take a lot of brain power,
right.
And a lot of my time,
Would you say that's the average price probably like right now? What are you guys at right now with per meal?
So I would say like before discount, it's probably the average price is going to be around about $10 a meal, So, we have a package of our meals for the week. It's 10 meals and those go for, it's a preset packet. It's going to be $100, So that's without any discounts. But a lot of the times we throw out discounts to our customers just because we know the economy that we're in is a tough one right now. You know, people can barely pay their basic, bills, so.
Yeah, it's
Well,
true.
well, even before the discount, that's even not bad. You got $10
Oh,
a
yeah,
meal.
for sure,
And
for sure.
I would get that. I'm a 10 meals guy. I pay that price. That's like 2 meals a day. That's my lunch and my dinner Monday through Friday. And that saves me a lot of money too. Not just with like going out to eat, but even with groceries. So I've noticed, like I said, the years that I've been using this product, it's one of those where I've noticed that I don't even spend that much at the grocery store as well too.
Well, it's
Yeah,
like
we've seen you come in the gym, with your plate and
Chef Cisco.
I eat this all the time.
I eat 2 plates, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come and we'll be eating in the room together.
but it's just amazing.
Candlelight lunch.
But I love the price of it because the same thing. I mean, you can't even go and get a 500 calorie meal for $5 or not for $10 without it really hurting you. And that's the main thing. It hurts you, right? If you want to go to McDonald's, you can maybe try to way to finesse a $10 meal, but really is McDonald's something that you want to be putting in your body?
and McDonald's
hard to
is
find, for sure.
expensive.
It's hard to
period.
find.
And it's going up in price.
I'm curious. Do you stay away from bread, or is bread part of a menu that you would put in?
So we don't put bread in our meals. The only type of bread, maybe what you want to call it bread, or like wraps that we make. So
Yeah.
some people they don't have a microwave. So we'll use like whole wheat wraps, or gluten-free tortillas. And as we're talking about a wrap, we got a wrap right here.
Yeah, that's
for
the one you come in all the time with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because now they're making bread.
keto bread or stuff like that.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, do you guys still, have bread or?
Well, we don't have any breads for meals. It's just more of a complex carbs that we're going to put in
okay.
there. Like I said, like gluten-free
Yeah.
pasta, like white rice, brown rice, the yams, diced jams, red potatoes. But going back to the price point, I was even at Flame Broiler the other day. Getting a chicken bowl from there cost me like $13.
It does.
So you're getting like a 4-ounce chicken meal for $13, and then you can get a meal from us for $10. It's like, come on, you see the
It
price
adds
difference
up,
right there.
and it's just one of those things too where the most common thing that I get when I'm working with clients too is they have a hard time eating, right? They have a hard time eating right. We can all admit that that's probably a priority when it comes to training clients. I always try to tunnel them into something like this. I'm like, look, if you're on the rush, if you're on the go, I'm all like, I'd rather have you spend $10 on this than go to the Flame Broiler or the Chipotle right around the corner and you're dropping even $14 to $15 on that. You're saving money, you're getting the proper amount of macros into it. And I've always been a fan of that too. And I think that's just something that, once again, I've heard you talk earlier about the community. You're just giving back to the community by giving them a good selling point too, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and that's the thing is that I feel like we want to make sure that it's something that I think should be, because each meal is roughly about 30 grams of calories, right? Or 30 grams per protein.
In between the 4 ounce are going to be in between 25 to 30, 25 to 35, so 30 grams like an average, and then
Which is the minimum of what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what you want, So it all depends on the quality of the protein too, Then we have like the 6 ounce if you want to be in that muscle building phase. Those are going to be roughly in between probably 40 to 50 grams of protein per meal. So it's like,
Fire.
yeah, and then those meals, they cost a little bit more, maybe a couple of bucks more, but you're getting that extra protein intake so you can build that muscle, that especially if you're in the gym, that's the biggest, thing that you want is to build muscle and
Right.
lose fat,
With clean quality ingredients.
So you get the quality ingredients, you get that more protein in your diet because we all know protein is the key for everything. More protein means bigger gains and more fat loss. So
So how variety wise, how many different meals do you say you have?
so I would say we have a good selection of meals. I would say probably around about 20 different options on our website for people to choose. We have breakfast, then we have lunches, like I call them lunches or dinners. So we got like breakfast burritos, we got like scrambled eggs, we have like sunny side up eggs, we got French toast, protein pancakes, like chicken breast, ground turkey, tilapia, shrimp, salmon, carne asada, tri-tip. We got the list goes on, So and then we got salads, we got wraps, So there's, you can't get sick of this. If you get sick of it, then that just means you don't want it, But at the end of the day, it takes about 21 days to see results. And then also, too, it takes about 21 days to change your eating habits, So, people come to me and they want to change their eating habits, but I always tell them it takes a while, But after 21 days, you get used to these meals. I have people on them and they say they can't live without these meals now, because when they do go to their cheat meals on the weekend, after a few days, they start to see themselves swelling up, blowing up. It's all the extra sodium that you're consuming in the meals out there, like say pizza, hamburgers, French fries. So, I say it takes 21 days to get into those new eating habits.
That's just any type of habit, but it's true. I mean, you hit the nail on that. I'm one of those people where it's literally I've been going on 10 years eating off of this, and it's just something that there's times when I take a break, and when I take a break from it, it shows, man. It shows. I'll be like, dude, what the heck? I thought I was doing good. I was like, no, but this just makes it so much easier to stay on track, to stay fit, because yeah, like I'll be like, okay, I could eat something like this. Oh, okay, I could make something like this. Man, no, that takes a while. And it's one of those where some of us didn't have the luxury that maybe others did growing up, where they always had someone cook their meals for them or help them out or anything like that. That's why they don't understand what these meal preps are. Michael Jeffrey Felcher.
Well, see, that's not that I understand what meal preps are for. You know? But I was going to say, if you have a client, you have someone getting meals 5 days out of the week, and they turn around and they cheat meals on the weekend. That's like, eating good, and then all of a sudden you just gorge it down in sugar, fat, and grease and everything, and then you jump back on the wagon and do this again. So do you ever suggest to them that, hey, if you're going to cheat meal, try to cheat meal healthy?
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, though, it's that individual. I can't control what they're going to be putting in there. I can't control what they're putting in their car or in their body. It's just like a car. I can't control people putting cheap gas or premium gas in their car. Behind closed doors, things are going to happen. But I'm one of those people, too. On the weekend, I'll cheat, I go out with my family.
There's a healthy balance.
I start Saturday night and I go into Sunday, and then Monday I'm like, what did I do? Feel it in my stomach, feel it in my skin. It's all greasy. But, you have to just use your best judgment, though. It's like, okay, you can still cheat, but just have that in moderation,
Right,
everything's
exactly.
in moderation.
100%.
Like I said, it's prioritizing on how you feel. Like I said, the minute I get off of these or anything like that, it's like, you feel it, especially the four of us right now. The four of us, we all like to work out. We all like how we feel when we do that. But we've all gone through it when we all cheat. And then after having like a good cheat meal or anything like that, you feel it on Monday walking into the gym like, oh, dude, I shouldn't have eaten that, yesterday. And sometimes that feeling sucks. So it's just like, it's up to the individual to realize that feeling sucks and to make those changes. It's not like, he's not going to be in charge of everything. We can't even control our clients too. So it's like, we just got to,
I'm not saying, you, but it's like, hey, if you're going to cheat, cheat, but try to cheat healthy.
Well, yeah. And like I said,
that's not telling them what to do, but it's giving them advice.
Yeah, I can give them advice, but at the end of the day, I'm just here to support them and help them take out the stress of cooking for themselves. You know,
it makes it easier.
I'm just that support that they come to, that they're looking for this service.
Yeah. What if someone wanted to get into meal prepping on their own, though? Would you give it? What kind of advice would you give them?
So I would just say, start with things that just batch cook. If you batch cook, it makes tremendous results, and obviously when you're doing it for yourself, don't cook big amounts of food. Cook for about 2 to 3 days at a time, 2, 3, 4 days max. Because after 4 days, like any of our food, it's going to lose its freshness. It's like, are you going to enjoy something that's like now chewy? And it's not going to be the same as something that you just cooked on day 1 or day 2. That's what meal prep is. It's just cooking in batch, or if you have extra food, you just put them in Tupperware and you just eat at your leisure, So that's what kind of meal prepping is. I'm not a magician here to make this food last forever, because we don't put any preservatives in there. It's all natural stuff, So
I mean, I cook in batch. I don't cook in batch, but we cook in batch.
we cook in batch. And we, by mean your wife, but you're there supporting her.
Your beautiful, lovely wife.
And for about 2 or 3 days, And
I would go 5 when I used to meal prep. I'll go Sundays is my meal prepping, and then I'll eat it Monday through Friday.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but then a lot of the people too are just eating the same thing over and over again. You're eating chicken and rice and broccoli. But like something like this, now you can get your variety. You can get like a different meal. if you're eating every 2-3 hours, you can get a different meal every 2 to 3 hours. It's not just chicken and rice now. You're eating a variety of wholesome food, so that's the good thing about using a meal prep service.
I think that's the beauty of it, because the most common objective that I've gotten from clients is they don't want to eat the same thing over and over again.
For sure.
Meal prep.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, yeah, but I don't want chicken, rice, and broccoli like 3 days in a row. I was like, okay, well, boom, here's another option right here. And just variety is always going to make things easier for especially people that are new to like really working on their health and fitness. And that's the thing, is that I've never been a cook myself either. So this just helps me out. Like I said, I've never had the luxury that Michael Jeffrey has had over there, where it's like, you've had that. And that's another thing too. I think
it's I don't know if it's luxury, but my wife's son, he swears on it.
Yeah.
Because he goes to you, and I had mentioned, Adam, the meal prep guy, he goes, oh, Adam. Oh, man. He goes, man, Mike, man, I go to him all the time. He goes, he makes like the best meals ever. And he's a person of loving different choices. And he's been going to you for a while.
Yeah.
And he swears on it. But, I personally, it's hard for me to meal prep.
Yeah.
If I was single, like, some people.
Hey man, I'm married.
If I was, if I was, that's what a mood ring or whatever. What do you call that? Come on, man.
How you feeling today?
When you raise your hand with one of these, then I'll sit there and say, But when you're single, it's definitely something that you want to look into.
Oh yeah.
I would say, From my understanding, you have a big menu, a big variety, and he swears on it. So,
hey, we've been in the game for 11 years now, so that's gotta tell you.
And
something.
that's another thing. They say businesses go down in a year.
Yeah.
They don't stay. A business will drop in a year if they're not doing things right. So if you've got 11 years in the business, obviously it's success.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, I don't really keep up with other meal prepping companies, but I know there are others out there. How do you stay ahead of the curve against your competitors?
So I stay relevant, social media, I stay in the community. I've partnered up with a lot of local gyms, so partnering up with the community and being present on social media pretty much, daily, that's what sets us apart from everybody else, and just having that connection with everybody, our brand recognition, we've been doing it now for this many years, they just see the logo and then it's Healthy Meals Kitchen, or they see me and they know I'm the meal prep guy, so it's like, for instance, we were in Big Bear a couple years ago, and somebody saw me like, "Oh, you're the meal prep guy, Healthy Meals Kitchen."
I go by Adam, the meal prep guy.
I'm in different gyms all the time, just giving free samples, giving deals, just talking about my business, just being passionate about the product and what I have to bring to the table has set me apart from the everyday meal prep company. I'm not Factor, I don't have thousands of dollars to back me up on spending money on advertisement. I'm just a genuine person that cares, and I'm in front of you, and they see that, and they want to be a part of my journey as much as I want to be a part of their journey. So they feel like we're family almost, so it's like just having that presence in the community, it's just it's a good thing, it feels good,
For sure,
humble.
for sure.
And how
I like that.
Yeah, like how did you even get started? That, like, what triggered you to like, oh man, I should start working with that gym. I should start working with that gym. Like the networking process,
Well, it's like in anything, you have to network. If you don't network, you're going to become irrelevant. It's like if you don't go out there and show your face in front of people, even the same people over and over again, they're not going to trust you. Usually it takes like 3 encounters to trust that person. It's like, the first one's the introduction. The second one is just being present again. The third one is like, okay, now they can kind of trust this person because they're showing up. So if I'm showing up for them at events, they should show up for me, because it's like I care. It's like I have a handful of gyms. I'll go to them. I don't know, like 15 different gyms at different counts I work with. We have pickup locations there. I have refrigerators there where you can now work out of the gym, you can order your meals, and now you can have them shipped to the gym and you can pick them up. So I'm now giving the convenience to these people. Now they're working out. After they're working out, now they can get their meals, and now they're seeing all the results that they want to see. They're saving themselves time and money because they have all the resources there.
So yeah, that's crazy. See, yeah, that's the thing is that I love about you, man. I mean, you've just kept you're just a genuine guy. You really are. You're just genuine. You get out there, and just like you said, being present and being there in the moment, because it's crazy when I go to my wife's family functions and stuff, and I'll bump into people, and then they'll be like, "Hey, I know that guy. I know Adam." I'll be like, in like, hardcore fitness, I think is a big one that I always bump into people, and then I'll be like, and it cracked me up that some of them recognized you at my wedding.
Yeah, and I was like, wait a minute, what are you guys doing here? Like, what are you doing here?
And my wedding was all the way in San Diego. And it's all like, of course, I'm inviting him to the wedding, but then like even some of like my guests from the wedding recognized him, and they're all like, "What? Like, you know Adam?" I was all like,
it's because he has a signature look, the braids.
Oh,
I mean, not the dreads. Sorry, the dreads.
You should know that. You're a reggae guy.
I do want to get dreads eventually.
Yeah, this is 23 years in the making right here.
Yeah.
Long time.
I tried braiding once, and I just
Dreads.
no. I'm just letting you know.
Oh,
dreads are longer.
okay,
Dreads,
okay,
I knew
okay.
Cisco when he had long hair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's why dreads is longer than braids. I was just saying, if I try braids, it's like no, but it's a different game. but no, that's crazy because like I said, it's always the approach on it, and like I said, the product is good. I mean, you can't fault a good product. So it's one of those where I think it makes it easy on everybody. And
Especially if you really truly believe in your product, people can see that. Yeah.
And I eat it too, so it's like I'm firsthand consuming it. So if I know that anything's not right, I can now go back to the kitchen and see what happened.
Right.
Or I can go to my suppliers and see why something isn't cooking the right way. Like if the chicken is off, or if the turkey isn't the same way. So then now I have these resources, and I have these connections with even my vendors. So it's like I had that relationship with now not just the community, with the vendors also too.
How often are you thinking of new recipes?
So we have a good staple menu, which the staple menu is pretty much the same, just like anywhere you're gonna go, like In-N-Out, Chipotle, they have the same items there. But every single month, for maybe the last year now, we'll rotate 5 to 6 different items in there. So that way, if people are kind of like, hey, we want more variety. Now we have different variety options for them to choose. So we'll take some of those items off the website, and then we'll put some new ones on there. Say
Like seasonal stuff,
seasonal items, yeah.
Pumpkin.
So then they kind of now have to look forward to them coming back again. So it's like, man, I really like the something, and now they want to get it again. I'm like, nope, you gotta wait. So now you gotta have to stay with me until that food comes back now. So you can kind of.
Do you have specials of the week?
Specials of the week, so we have our meal plan, the one I was telling you guys about earlier. It's 10 meals. So every month we change this menu up. It's 10 individual meals, and then that will be like the special. So it's $10 or $100 for the 10 meals for 10 meals. But like those every single 4 weeks, we'll change them up. We'll have like 5 staple items, and then we'll have 5 different rotating menu items in there too.
Yeah, so. See, what you thinking over there, Mike?
Yeah, give me some more questions.
Yeah. Give him some more questions, because like this is what I feel like. I feel like it's to me it's just super convenient. Everyone at the gym's always seeing me. I just literally pop it in 3 minutes, get a quick eat in, and then get back to my day. I've always debated with old Mike over there that he doesn't understand it because he grew up in a different time too, where I don't think
We didn't meal prepping. No, it didn't exist in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Meal prepping didn't really, I don't think it really started coming out until like maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago.
Like, well, more like when the social media era came out.
Yeah.
All these fitness people started popping up on social media. People started seeing their meal prepping, their menu that they were doing at home.
Well, like I tell these guys, back then social media had no role in what we did. We used to pay phone. These guys, nowadays they're texting and doing all this.
What about a beeper?
that came later too. We had a phone. It was like that big, and you had to carry it on your shoulders. But I think back then it was easier to train.
Yeah.
And to work out and to do the things that you do, because you didn't have all these inconveniences. Those are inconveniences. When you're in there and the guys, on the phone texting and this and that, so Now I sit back and look. I'm seeing, I see meal prepping, I see texting, I see social media, and just it's like it's just one busy thing.
Everybody's just trying to keep up with each other.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
and
They don't want to be the outsider
no,
anymore.
it,
You wanna be left
it may
behind.
be it may
For
be
real.
3 days before we get news, where these guys get news like in 5 minutes.
faster than that.
Yeah.
Seconds.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
When something happens, you get notifications on your phone left and right.
Yeah.
Just like us, we'll give weekly notifications to people to remember to order. So it's like, we have to be part of the time too. So it's like, order now. If you don't order now, you're gonna miss out your meals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so meal prepping. These guys joke with me about it, and Cisco's, you got to teach Mike about meal prepping. I really don't know a lot about it, but I do know people have tried it.
Yeah.
And they've tried it through home, and they weren't successful. They were successful for a period of time, and then they fizzled out.
Yeah, that's I would say that's majority of the individuals.
So to hear you say you've been doing this for 11 years, that definitely tells me you're established in what you're doing. Okay, so yeah, I'm impressed. That a meal prepping business, you can keep going that long.
It's not easy. Like I said, it's not easy.
Well, I don't think any business is easy. Trust me on that.
Yeah, he's all learning. He's learning a lot. So.
You trust me on that one. Having a business is not easy. You have to do things that other people aren't going to do for you.
You got to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, you got to do it for yourself, and you got to, you have to believe in yourself and stuff. And if you don't, then you're not going to be successful.
It's like if like a chef doesn't show up, or if a delivery driver doesn't show up, I still got to fill in for those people. I got to do those roles, but then I still have my everyday roles. I still got to do those.
Right.
Sometimes I'm in the kitchen at 3:30 in the morning, and I don't get home until 8 p.m. at night because I got to go in the kitchen, got to cook for the cooks that say if they get sick during the holidays. The flu's around. They don't want to be around the food. I don't want them to be contaminating the food. So I'll step in and do it myself.
Man, so what's like a weekly process for you and your staff when it comes to this? Like, I know on Sundays, you have customer pickups or anything like that. But like, for example, when are those meals being cooked? What's the process leading up to it and whatnot?
Yes, so we cook a couple days out of the week, so we have a couple days we have pre-delivery days like Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays, as well as those will be pickup days as well too. But like, say for instance, if we want to start for the meal prep pickup on like a Sunday, we start opening up the orders on Tuesday. Like, our online store starts opening up. We start generating orders Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday by 8 p.m. We cut it off. And then we start now putting all these orders together in spreadsheets. We start breaking down all the proteins, all the carbs, all the veggies, all the different sauces, all the different everything, that you can think of. And then we send it to our kitchen. But before then, we also have to send those out the shopping list to our vendors. We get the fresh food delivered. Then we start prepping everything on Friday and Saturday. Then we start putting the meals together. And then we got to now start pulling orders and putting people's orders together for dispatch. We have pickup, we have delivery, we have gym deliveries. We have offices that we work with. And then sometimes we work with like senior homes, we work with like community centers. So we have to now set up logistics as well as remind people when to pick up. So there's a lot involved with it, So it's not just like, hey, I want to place this order. Now I gotta like make sure I'm getting the fresh ingredients. Now if something isn't in season and it runs out, now I have to scramble and I got to go find these resources. Sometimes I'm paying even higher than what I'm making, so it's like I'm losing out, but now I'm still providing the product and the service to the customers that pre-order, because everything is a pre-order service.
Yeah. How do you handle food waste? Or do you always sell out? Mostly.
For the food waste, we have the storefront, and we do our grab and go store.
Yeah.
We have the pre-made meals ready. So if we do have anything that's food waste, we do like those red dot meals. So we'll just put whatever we have together, we put them in containers. They're still fresh food, but now we'll discount these off at like, say, $6.50 a meal, $7 a meal. So we promote that on Instagram. We'll send out text messages to our database, because we have our database in store and on our website. So like, come in today, you get a meal for $6.50, And if we don't sell those out, then we use another company called Too Good to Go. Too Good to Go is I can put 2 meals on their website for $8.
Oh,
So now if I have something that's going to go bad in a couple days, I'm just going to, okay, let me put all these meals on Too Good to Go. I'll put like 10, 15 meals. I'll sell those out within minutes, because you're getting 2 meals at $8.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So I'm pretty much either breaking even or just losing a little bit of profit, but it's better than now throwing the food away.
For sure.
Because we don't want to throw food away.
No.
This is valuable stuff. Somebody can benefit from it.
100%.
How many meals you guys probably do in a day?
So weekly, I would say weekly, because since we do cook twice a week, we don't really do daily. So I would say average, we're at the 2,500 meal marker right now. So we do 2,500 meals.
2,500?
Yeah, 2,500.
in a week?
2,500 meals a week. Yeah. So, so it's a big operation, So it's not.
I was thinking you were going to say maybe about 300.
No, yeah.
Add another zero and a couple hundred more.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, when we first started.
Wow, man, you must do at least 300-400.
So
2,500.
I'm ordering like say 500 pounds of chicken a week. I'm ordering like 200 pounds of turkey. I'm ordering like 150 pounds of ground beef. 60 pounds of salmon, 60 pounds of tri-tip. And that's not including the veggies. Now we're going through like say 60 pounds of broccoli. Like 30, 40 pounds of asparagus. So there's a lot of stuff that we're ordering, and a lot of little factors that have to go into the details.
So what's the future?
The future, I'm looking into
every businessman looks.
Well, they're
expanding, maybe opening up new spots.
Opening up another, instead of that, opening up
Okay.
another spot, maybe just partnering up with some other businesses. Because now AI is becoming a big thing. I've
Yeah.
looked at these AI vending machines. They have vending machines where now I can put my food in there, and now I can it will tell me how much product's going to be in these vending machines. And now I don't even have to be there. I don't even have to have an employee. You could just tap your credit card, open the refrigerator, select your meals that you want, and as soon as you shut that door, the camera is on the refrigerator will tell me how many meals came out, and I'll charge the card individually.
Oh, okay.
So now I don't even have to physically have a storefront or even an employee. I can just now partner up with people and say, hey, I want to offer a vending machine for you guys at no extra charge, or I could give you a percentage of a commission base on it, as well as now your employees aren't going to have to leave the facility to go get these meals. Say, for instance, like a police station. You have all the officers in there, instead of them going out and getting donuts or like fast food, now they can have a healthy alternative in there. And plus all these wellness programs that these companies have, they pay for these resources to have their staff eat better, because if they eat better,
and they're not going to get sick.
they're not going to get sick. That's right. They're going to now not be calling off. You're not going to have to get covered.
Yeah.
And it just all benefits everybody.
Damn, I didn't know that.
So
Yeah.
things are in the works.
Oh, yeah.
That's dope.
Things are in the works.
That's the future.
Yeah, AI.
And I love that you're looking ahead into that, man.
Yeah.
And so
Any beverages coming soon?
Well, we do have our cold pressed juices that we
you do?
offer. So we
okay.
do work with another company. They're called Juice Flow. He's based out in the city of Commerce. So he does cold pressed juices, all organic ingredients. So we do have a juice company that we offer for people that like to juice. So we do have like, the green juices. We have like the fruit juices. We have like ginger shots.
Yeah.
So that way
Nice,
you can build up your immunity during
Hell yeah.
like the cold season. If you take your ginger
Fire.
with turmeric and stuff like that.
Yes.
You ever thought about doing your own juice?
We actually did do our own juices in house, but it's a lot. You gotta just get so much vegetables, and you're just putting in those juicers. And I'm like, you know what? Let me partner up with somebody that does it better than I do.
And
So
just
it's
focus on your meals.
like I said,
that juicing is hard, man.
it works though. You have a couple of those juices, the
You know,
body starts moving.
It works, but you put in juices. You get a juice machine and you're juicing it up. You get a whole bag of oranges and you're putting them all in there, and you come up with a cup, man, about that big. You're like,
it's like nothing. So I said, let me stick. I'll stick with what I'm good at. I'll be making the food, and then I'll partner up with the other people that are good at what they do. So
I got one last question.
okay.
If you could only live off of one of your meals for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh man, if I could only live off of one meal, that'd be the buffalo chicken bowl.
hell yeah.
Fire. That's what I get too. That's fire. That is fire.
I love
Yes.
it. With that little Greek sauce, the Greek yogurt.
It's so basic. It's so
Fire.
simple.
Fire.
It's just like you get some buffalo chicken breast, some white rice. Some green onions. You get some cheese, and you use like Greek fat-free yogurt.
Yes.
You're getting this basic meal. I think we even have it in here.
Yeah. Showcase it.
Right there.
You can even open it up.
Boom.
One meal, the 4-ounce meal, you're getting 458 calories, 51 grams of protein.
Ooh.
51 grams of protein
Love
for this
that.
meal.
Hefty.
Is that the most popular one? What is the most popular one?
I would say the most popular one is going to be this or chicken enchiladas.
Really? I would have thought the chili would have been up there.
I don't think I've had that yet.
That's one of the original staple items that we have. But like the enchiladas, I would just say hands down is like the most popular one. You know, like, but I would say buffalo chicken or enchiladas. Those would be the two because people like spice.
Fire. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, that's a good one. Buffalo chicken.
Yeah, that's why I always mix it in and then just mix that.
Oh yeah, I just
You have some other ones there too.
Yeah, so we got like this is a seasonal one. We got like a pesto chicken pasta with like cherry tomatoes and gluten-free I already said the gluten-free pasta. That one's like 45 grams of protein, 37 carbs and 30 or 34 grams of fat. Then we have like a basic one, like turkey meatballs with mashed yams and green beans. So you can open them up. They're kind of, all ready to go, ready to eat. If you can see on camera.
I don't know.
Little POV action.
Yeah. So and then it's all fresh ingredients. All just all natural stuff. It's almost like my childhood recipe meals that I grew up on, and now I just put them in like an operations book, a cookbook, and we now just offer it to everybody else and let them enjoy what I enjoy.
Hell yeah.
Adam, thank you for doing the Lord's work for everybody.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Yes.
Gains aren't made. I guess what do they say? Abs are made in the kitchen.
Yeah. So just let the followers and listeners know where they can find you. Plug yourself in.
Yeah. So you can find me at the store. Like I said earlier, it's 18854 Brookhurst Street in Fountain Valley. Or you can find us out at healthymealskitchen.com. Get your weekly orders in. We do have a couple order deadlines. You either have Mondays at 5:30 for like midweek Wednesday pickup or delivery. And then you can order your meals on Thursday by 8 p.m. to have those picked up or delivered on Sunday or Monday. As well as you could just come into the store and just get grab and go meals. And also follow us on Instagram, Healthy Meals Kitchen. And then you'll be able to see our daily specials or daily menu. And then you can also see the stupid reels and funny stuff that I post on a regular basis.
Hey, they're fire.
I never was a social media person. I was never wanting to get behind a camera, but I just started coming out of my comfort zone a couple of years ago. And now it just becomes natural. It's like
the Bruno Mars of healthy meals over there, doing everything. So,
put some autographs out there.
There you go. So thank you for stopping by, Adam. Thank you for giving us insight and letting us know more about your product. Like I said, I'm not going to stop using it. I know Kyle's going to start using it. He's been.
And you might see me pop in there one day.
If he does, we're going to post
we'll get him in there for
if
sure.
Do, I better take a picture of that and post it to the gram.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Snapchat.
So there you go. Everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Adam, follow Healthy Meals Kitchen. Make sure you give them a try. I'm Coach Cisco.
Coach Michael.
Coach Kyle.
Once again,
Adam.
We'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Later, guys.